Hello everyone and welcome to the Car and Bike Show here on the NDTV network. I'm Siddharth Vinayak Partnkar and boy do we have a whole lot coming your way. Some special people join us on the program today and we've got all the latest from the Frankfurt Motor Show. Let's go across to Frankfurt where Bala actually has all the new launches for you.
We begin on the eve of the opening of the motor show. When Jaguar revealed the CX-17 concept, lots of raised eyebrows and plenty of surprise as Jaguar shocked and thrilled with this crossover concept. The CX-17 showcases Jaguar's new aluminium monocoque architecture IQAL, which will be used on the future range of cars. The vehicles using this architecture are capable of top speeds of over 300 km per hour with very low emissions. By the way, some of those design elements you see will show up on all future products from the Jaguar stable.
Looks quite a stunner, doesn't she? Jaguar's first crossover SUV is impressive not just in terms of its design, but also the way it's been built on the new aluminium architecture by Jaguar. Also, this all-wheel drive is going to be performance-oriented clearly and not really going to match up to the Land Rover's SUV and off-roading capabilities. Also, in terms of the design, you see a lot of Jaguar typical elements coming into the design, including the F-Type.
The vehicle demonstrates how far we can...
We will chat with the chief designer of the CX-17, Ian, on his creation in just a short while on CNB. The focus at the ongoing 65th Frankfurt Motor Show seems to be on new technology, be it the hybrids, the electrics, or even the new vehicle architecture that we're seeing from several manufacturers. Mercedes-Benz showed off its home advantage with the largest stand at the motor show and had quite a few aces up their sleeve. Take a deep breath and feast your eyes on the new S-Class concept coupe. All of 2 doors and 4 seats, this silver beauty spins a web to captivate a new kind of buyer. But it wasn't all about sheer luxury from Mercedes-Benz. The new compact SUV, the GLA, has finally broken cover. Headed to India very soon, this compact SUV gets 2 petrol and 2 diesel options and has an optional 4MATIC all-wheel drive system too.
Okay, so the compact SUV from the Mercedes stable, you have the GLA, which is clearly the most anticipated car from the stable on the A-Class platform. This is the third car on the A-Class platform, and the GLA is something that's really going to appeal to a lot of consumers when it comes to India. It's going to take on the BMW X1 as well as the Audi Q3, which is going to make things very interesting in this segment, which is seeing a lot more popularity.
Speaking of Audi and BMW, let's move on to them next. Is it a supercar? Is it a crossover SUV? No, it's the Audi Nanuk concept.
So of all the concepts that you've seen so far, the Audi Nanuk has to take the cake for trying really too hard, for giving it the sports car an off-roading kind of feel to it. And it looks quite interesting, doesn't it? And going by what we're hearing, Audi is possibly going to look a lot of these design elements into the future range of products.
A V10 diesel engine with 544 bhp and an automated air suspension on those large 22-inch wheels, the Nanuk does come with a lot of attitude and we like it very much. Tony Stark needs to get one of these, right? But if it is sheer speed he wants, Audi has also revealed the Quattro Sport concept in gorgeous yellow. This 700 horsepower twin-turbo 8-cylinder engine beast is likely to be priced higher than the existing R8 as it revives the legend of the Quattro Sport. The third German, BMW, went the extra mile to showcase its recently launched i-brand green vehicles, the i3 and the i8. Aimed at urban mobility, this 4-seater hatchback is built purely out of carbon fiber reinforced plastic, and that too with front-wheel drive. Tony Stark, move over. Here comes Ethan Hunt. The more good-looking i8 plug hybrid features BMW's new 1.5-litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine, which produces 228 bhp and is mated to a 6-speed gearbox. Add the 129 bhp from the electric motor and the i8 is quite mean for a hybrid. Also of interest to markets like India was the public unveiling of the new sporty mid-size BMW 4 Series Coupe. What was unveiled at Frankfurt was the 2-door version, but markets like India might be getting the 4-door version. Built on the 3 Series platform, the 4 Series Coupe interestingly comes with optional rear-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. It was raining coupes at Frankfurt. This concept might just be the most crucial yet for Volvo, and it's the first of the 3 concepts that will define the future design language for the company. The next-gen XC90 SUV will be the first car to use this new design language.
And this one from Volvo on the concept coupe is really the one that's going to drive the company's new architecture in terms of what they're calling it, the product scalable architecture, and that's going to be applicable on all the new Volvo cars that's going to come up. Even in terms of the design, it's a pretty forward-looking design, although this is just a concept and it's probably going to be reflective of all the new models that's going to come up from Volvo.
The only sports celebrity who made an appearance at the Frankfurt Motor Show was F1 driver Sebastian Vettel, that too for Infiniti's entry-level luxury hatch, the Q3 concept. Very futuristic in its design, the 5-door concept hatch is a while away from production, but Infiniti is quite keen to make an impression in the premium compact car segment with the Q3. But what's a motor show without showing you what the supercar brigade had for us, eh? The Lamborghini Gallardo got a special edition named the LP574 Squadra Corse based on the Gallardo Super Trofeo track car. 5.2-litre V10, 570 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.4 seconds. Need we say more? But sports car makers like Porsche reiterated their commitment on hybrid technology by unveiling the new Porsche 918 Spider. Unlike other gas guzzlers, the Spider offers strong fuel economy without compromising on performance with a 4.6-litre V8 combined with 2 electric motors that put out 880 bhp. Ferrari didn't have a new model line either, but it did unveil the 458 Speciale that will join the Coupe and Spider versions of the 458 range. Ferrari claims huge strides in engine innovation, active aerodynamics and electronic controls, making the 458 Speciale not just another limited edition, but it could be a major learning curve for the Italian supercar giant.
Now, one of the big showstoppers there at Frankfurt this year, undoubtedly the CX-17 concept from Jaguar Land Rover, more specifically Jaguar. And this is a brand that, well, had never ventured into this particular territory, this kind of a vehicle. So joining us right now on CNB, all the way from Frankfurt, we've got the head of design at Jaguar, Mr. Ian Callum. It's always a pleasure, Ian, to see you. Thanks for joining us. Now, Ian, I have to start by asking you the very obvious question. Jaguar as a brand had in the past maintained it's never going to do an SUV. You told me that as well. What's changed? Why this crossover concept at this time?
Well, the first thing about this is all about architecture. It's all about a new architecture, and it's an architecture that gives us opportunity to try different cars. Now, we've already declared today we've got a medium-sized car based on this new aluminium architecture, but it's very flexible. We wanted to prove we could produce something else off this new structure, and this is the first idea we came up with, not only because it was a bookend in many ways, and it's slightly different for Jaguar, but also we need to test the water to see if we should really do a crossover of some kind and get public reaction. And it's something we as a design team found very challenging, and therefore we embarked on it. And after quite a little bit of time, 18 months or so, this is our end result at the moment, but it's still a concept.
All right, so now tell us this. What does this particular launch indicate to us in terms of where the future of Jaguar design is going? There are elements there which look a lot like the existing range. What's new?
Yeah, we just launched the F-Type. Actually, it's a year ago since we launched the F-Type, and it's been hugely successful, re-establishing ourselves in the sports car brand and the sports car market. But the thing is, we must investigate other things, and at the moment, with especially this new architecture, we've got the opportunity to try different things, and it's our job as a design department to go ahead and try different things and see what might be right for the brands in the future. And you know, this is one of the ideas. We have many ideas. We're not going to tell everybody when we're going to do everything and what we're going to do. But as I said, the first car we do is a mid-engine family saloon car, but we'll see what comes up after that.
All right, and as I always ask you, your favorite part of this new design study?
My favourite design element of this car is all Jaguars. It's all about the big picture. I know everybody wants me to point to one corner or one element, but the most important thing about a Jaguar is the overall proportion. It's what you see 200 yards, 200 metres away. And the big picture is what matters. It is what really allows us to do great design, and that's something we work very hard at. That's my favourite part, the big picture.
All right, Ian, thanks so much for joining us. We'll let you get back to the show. Welcome back to the show. Now the Q3 S represents a different kind of premium offering. We've seen that of late, lots of vehicles that are being priced just below 25 lakh rupees, creating a lot of excitement. This one pretty much at that 25 lakh rupee barrier. You do notice the Audi logo up front, the big front grille, and it tells you straight away that you're stepping into this territory. You look a little bit closer, that's when you pick up the fact that there aren't any LED headlights, there isn't that typical signature LED daytime running light either. That's very strange because that's pretty much the signature of Audi as a brand, not just the Q3 or any of the specific individual models really. Besides that, you're not really picking up too much else because of course it looks great in red, but they've also given you nice black alloys, makes the car look fairly sporty and rugged. You come around to the side, you have the roof rails, and overall you're still getting a feel of this car being an Audi. Of course on the inside you know that this is a manual transmission. That's quite an aberration because none of the premium players have yet had or haven't been brave enough to really step into manual transmission mode. And so yes, with the Q3 S you get that. The badging at the back with the 2-litre TDI engine of course promises a whole lot of power and excitement. It is a very hardy, proven motor, we know that. And then you got the Q3 badging. That's nice. There isn't anything that tells you that this is the cheaper variant. It just tells you that it's the Q3. So I do expect there to be a fair number of takers on the day of the launch. Remember that Audi was boasting that it's picked up lots of buyers online for this car already. So we do expect to see a lot more action in this space, and that's the part I want you to react to. Go ahead and post your questions on this on our second screen on the NDTV app because, well, this is exciting, isn't it? Who is going to finally breach that 20 lakh price point? I guess that's the next question to look forward to. Now let's move away from talking about just this one car and talk about a car we showed you last week. That's the 1 Series from BMW. It is a rival in some senses because again it's a similar price point that we've just been talking about. And the man who has been perhaps responsible for launching that car here in India in a very big way is of course Sachin Tendulkar. No prizes for guessing that I'm a huge fan. You all know this already, and so it was a privilege and an honor to once again have him on CNB. Here's an excerpt of that conversation. Joining us here on the NDTV network, we have a man who needs absolutely no introduction, not in this country, perhaps not anywhere in the world, Mr. Sachin Tendulkar. Great to see you.
Hello, lovely to see you.
This particular car is, sort of touted as being a complete driver's car. It has this credential or reputation. You've had the chance to experience it on a track
Yes.
as well as on regular roads. That kind of oneness with the car, no puns intended, is special.
It is special. In the month of July, I drove this car in Germany. What a fabulous experience it was. Phenomenal what the car does, straight line acceleration, braking, cornering. It was great to drive this car. And
Aggressive and
yes, it is. It is aggressive.
It's in your face as well. No, the reason now I ask about that is because you've had the chance to, of course, drive several other cars and even been on tracks before, I know. How does that compare with something like this? Because this is a much smaller car. It gives you, very tight handling, and it's a different experience compared to, either a larger sedan or a sports car.
Oh, it's a completely different experience because it's a, as you put it correctly, that it's a smaller car, but ideal space inside and far easier to control, handle. Looking at the traffic in India and in the road conditions, this is a perfect mixture of styling backed by good technology, luxury. I think it's a wonderful experience to be in this car, and I've not driven this car in Mumbai though. That's something that I'm looking for.
You have always been a car enthusiast, a car lover. I think perhaps a few years ago this was not a known fact, but now it is. What has been your most memorable sort of experience with an automobile of late? I mean, if you provided you're getting the time to do that.
I like driving. I mean, even the other day I went somewhere and my driver was sitting on the back seat. I told my wife that I feel like driving. I don't want him to drive. So he sat, and while somebody had to park the car, so my driver was there and he just parked the car. We returned back again. I did the same thing. My driver sat back and I drove because that's something I really enjoy doing. Recently, I've just I've been driving a BMW M6, the Grand Coupe, and it's a fabulous car. It's a joy to get inside the car. Forget about what the performance is; it's really unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it's a joy to get inside the car, just appreciate the finishing, the lines. The interior is just fabulous.
The other very popular sort of question that we've been getting for you on Twitter, besides why you're not on Twitter more often, I think that was probably the most popular, but the second most popular was a lot of people want to know from you, you've traveled around the world. Do you firstly get the chance to experience any of those roads when you're, obviously when you're touring with the team, it's probably less time, but otherwise, do you get the opportunity to check out good driving roads around the world? Do you look for those opportunities, and if yes, anything that stands out?
Yeah, I mean, if we are traveling with the team, then there is hardly any time to do all these activities. But with my family, when there is more off time, I sometimes end up going to racetracks and drive there because that is the best and the safest place to drive hard. I do that, but not as regularly as I would like to. But whenever I manage to do that, it's a lot of fun. It's thrilling.
Will Anjali ever join you on that, or?
She is not particularly fond of speed.
But cars in general, she
really becomes a spectator, and even when I invite her to, do a lap with me, she's not happy.
But I've seen that at least now she's more interested in the cars. And does she drive at all here in Mumbai, or?
Yeah, she drives. She's another person who's a big fan of BMW, and right from the start she's been a BMW fan, and she's always, whenever I wanted to give her a car, it was always a BMW, and there was no toss-up there. So she loves cars.
I have a very interesting question that came in from our viewer, Mr. Akash Motwane. He asks, a car that you simply love, but Anjali hates. You said
any
speed,
car,
so I'm guessing.
Any car that goes fast, she doesn't like, and but because the cars that I'm driving, M6 is a fast car, but as I said earlier, that just like the 1 Series, M6 also is an aggressive car, but at the same time, it's a luxurious car. It's a comfortable ride, and when I'm driving soberly, then my wife enjoys being in that car. So that's the one I would say.
All right. So for her, then it's not so much the car in particular, but just the style of driving that becomes.
It's the style of driving.
All right. Fair enough. The best enthusiast's car that you have driven then? I mean, I remember that people always ask you about the Ferrari experience. Now, of course, of late, perhaps the GTR. But outside of that, maybe on one of your track days.
My exciting car, I would say, would be a couple of cars. Ariel Atom, which is a track
That's crazy.
car.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to drive that, and Quattro as well.
Hmm.
So that's another sort of a track car which I enjoy being in both because it is an open car. B, the engine is sitting right behind you.
It's very direct.
Yeah. I mean, so it's a different experience. So those ones.
We very often look at that archive interview of Pranoy speaking
Yes.
with you when you had just debuted.
Yes.
And I know we
exactly.
keep looping it and running it, but 25 years of the network. Your thoughts on that as well?
I'd like to congratulate NDTV, Dr. Roy, for having completed 25 years, and I have to say time flies because when he took my interview, I think that was in 91 or 92, just when I started
Yes.
playing for India, and I also saw that interview some time ago, and the first thought came to my mind was we both look a little different now, but
Yeah.
it's been a fantastic channel, and everyone appreciates the channel and the credibility. I just want to wish NDTV all the way best.
What is it that you're immediately looking forward to? I was ecstatic when the Mumbai Indians won at the IPL, but are you looking forward to the Champions League?
The next tournament is Champions League, so that's something that I'll be practicing for.
And your fitness is fine now. Your hand is okay,
Absolutely
and
fine, yes.
all right,
Absolutely fine.
great. Thank you so much. Always
Thank you.
super to see you, and
Thank you.
look forward to the next time.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
You can catch the entire interview online on ndtv.com. Thank you so much for all of you who sent in questions. Of course, we couldn't accommodate all of them, but I do appreciate it. And in fact, remember, if you have any other questions, especially those related to cars or bikes, you can post them on our second screen. That's on the NDTV app. Quick questions I want to take before we say goodbye today. The first one coming in from Vinay, which talks about a good automatic hatchback between 5 and 10 lakh rupees. Vinay, there aren't too many options, and most of those gearboxes are fairly archaic. We'd like to wait and see how the Grand i10 automatic is. That car will arrive closer to Diwali, but it promises to use the same transmission that already exists in the i10, so not very revolutionary in terms of being a great drivetrain. So I would recommend that you check out the Nissan Micra CVT, because on fuel efficiency, if not on drivability, that is a fairly good combination. Another quick question I want to sneak in from Sumit, who is asking about the comparison between the i10, or the Grand i10 I should say, and the Honda Brio. That car, the Honda, actually compares more to the existing i10 in terms of size. The Grand i10 is grand, it's bigger, and so it's not a very fair comparison. Honda, of course, promises its own set of parameters that work in the Brio's favor. It is reliable, but the Grand i10 is definitely a lot more spacious. So if that's what you're looking for, a family car, then the Grand i10 is probably a better option, Sumit. With that, it's a wrap here on the program. Please wear your seatbelts, please wear your helmets, and keep those questions coming in to me. Bye-bye.